This week, why you should go to small venue gigs that shocked us to the core.
I'm Ali.
I'm Craig.
And this is Dermist Mondays. Yeah.
Ali's going to kick off proceedings.
This might be a bit of a curveball to start off with, but The Darkness at King Tut's.
Boofed.
Have you ever seen a band before where they've just broke and ended up becoming massive? I know this isn't on the same level as like the Sex Pistols at the Trade Hall in Manchester, you know, tickets for like 50p, you know, and all the big bands were there at the time, you know, like the Buzzcocks, Joy Division, The Fall, Tony Wilson, you know, from Factory Records. I was at college, I think maybe like 2003, 2004, and he said, do you want to come and see a band at Tuts? They dress up in catsuits and play glam rock.
I said no, I was only 7.
I was like, yeah, sure. Got a ticket on the door and had absolutely no expectations at all whatsoever. Cue The Darkness. I don't think this is at a time when glam rock wasn't very popular amongst all the indie pop rock that was going about at the moment.
Bowie was at a pretty low point in his career at that time as well, wasn't he?
The current song was Get Your Hands Off of My Woman, Mother, Beep. It all seemed very gimmicky at the time, but hands down it was one of the best gigs I've ever been to. I had no idea that they were going to break like within the next month and become the band that they became. You know, they ended up replacing David Bowie at T in the Park when Bowie got a lollipop stuck in his eye. I think somebody from the crowd flung a lollipop at him, and
they've got some classic riffs. Like looking back on it, their tunes are, that first album was seriously track after track of
every song
awesomeness.
On it was amazing.
It's no surprise really that they hit it big, is it?
And Justin Hawkins has got some serious vocals on him, you know, and he can really pull it off live as well. Not every band you can say that about. And then Justin Hawkins went on to compete as a pro dart player.
Yeah, it's a strange one, wasn't it? I like the quote, Justin has always considered himself a darts player first and foremost, and throws with precision and skill. The glam rocker who also plans to present and host a darts-based celebrity TV show got a sponsorship with BW Darts. He said, I've got the skills and I've got the shirts. All I need to do now is work on my game. Fair enough, how can you argue with that? Right, this one, I always remember I met Ali the next day after this gig. It just could not function.
I could function. I was just
no, you couldn't get your mind off of it.
That's true. I did speak about it for quite a while, but it was again another gig at Tuts. Although we went to see them again in Courtiers later on. But the Brighton band, the Nordic Giants. Have you ever been to a gig where you've got absolutely no expectations, but you come away from the show with a whole new outlook and perspective on life?
That's heavy, man. That's deep.
I think we got free tickets from the promoter. I was trying to get the support gig for when Tony and I were playing in Augusta Fireball. We didn't get the gig, but we got free tickets, so we thought we would head over to the show. I had no idea that it would be one of the greatest gigs of my life. 2 guys, drums, keys, with the occasional trumpet solo, accompanied by a cinematic visual backdrop with spoken word and samples. Pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Both guys dressed up like a scene out of the 13th Warrior. Headpieces, body paint, masks. They looked like animals or beasts. They certainly played like it as well.
Anyone that says unknown bands can't have sublime stage production obviously haven't seen the Nordic Giants, because they really push the boundaries of what you think's possible when you go and see a small band. 2 guys, and honestly you will be totally engrossed in what they do. They're just super talented. They
have a huge screen behind them. They sit either side, left and right of the screen, and they have projected films in the background. It's a cinematic roller coaster ride, and it's seriously emotive and life affirming for sure.
One of the things that sticks out for me was the short film that they showed, basically about a battle for oxygen tanks, and it was about a family. They're driving on their holiday.
Oh yeah, it's called The Last Breath.
It just seems more relevant now with the masks and all that, you know.
Yeah. And it doesn't. The music doesn't start. They play the film for about 2 or 3 minutes. You're just standing in the audience watching the film. A sort of nice family environment. I think they're out fishing or something like that. They're in the countryside, and then all of a sudden they're struggling for breath, and they're fighting over oxygen tanks. It's quite crazy, actually. Really
It's
well
not
directed.
like catchy tunes or anything, but it's like really emotive, long cinematic pieces. We checked out their YouTube channel for the first time in a good while, and they've got lots of new content up, uploaded this year, and we're dying to actually go and check it out, because if it's as good as their shows were, then it'll be incredible.
Yeah, they've got a few albums out. Brighton-based band Nordic Giants. Go and check them out.
Links in the description for their YouTube channel. Is that what you do? You point down the way like that?
We're moving on to a different venue here. We are going to the Hug and Pint on Great Western Road in Glasgow.
Good scran at the Hug and Pint.
Good food and good music. One of the best shows we went to see in there was the Bad Mannequins. We know Ross and Jamie really well, and I do the sound for Bad Mannequins and a wee bit of driving the van.
I mean, you're basically the guy from League of Gentlemen that just talks about when he was on the road. I used to do sound for Bad Mannequins.
I still do, it's just there's no gigs to do sound for. They're one of Glasgow's hidden gems, and they put a lot into sounding epic as a two-piece. Ross diverts his guitar signal into guitar amps and bass amps. The songs are just rip, roaring hits. They've got a bit of Eagles of Death Metal about them. There's not a point in their set where you're not jumping about or bopping along to the tunes. Instant trackage, yeah.
It's good fun.
They've got a few EPs out online. Check them out on Spotify, Tidal, all good streaming platforms. Pretty sure they're going to be releasing some new material soon. Hug and Pint, great venue, great music, and that was one of the gigs that we enjoyed there. Last but certainly not least,
Sir was at Broadcast. If anyone's been down Circuit Hall Street, you know there's a plethora of cracking venues there, and one of them being Broadcast. It just so happened, Ali said, do you want to go and see this band? Again, no expectations, you just go. Just something draws you to the gig, I don't know what it is.
we just thought it'd be a good wee night, didn't we?
Yeah, it's just an excuse to go out. Cause it was midweek as well, wasn't it? You know, you're just...
I think it was a Wednesday night or
you're just going
night.
through the motions during the week, and boofed. Sir was.
We knew the sound was going to be pretty good. And
yeah, it's a good sounding venue.
And you know, when you hear a band on record, and maybe it's that thing where you just see them live for the first time, the recordings are pretty lo-fi, and then when you see them live, they take it up another level.
I think the thing with the records is that they're all played by Sir Woz himself.
Yeah, he plays everything, like the drums, guitar, keys.
Yeah, he had some guys in for the band, and they added their own flavour, shall we say, and it really elevated it. And I hope that there's some sort of future record that involves them, because it really is should be captured, because it takes you to that place, you know.
Well,
especially.
I think him and the guitarist, I think, work quite closely together. And I remember the guitarist after the gig saying, "Oh, what did you think about the live show compared to the album?" And maybe he was asking a few questions about the future sound of their records.
It really was amazing. I mean, every song was as good as the next one.
Yeah,
there was no like weak point where you go, all right, come on. It's not like there was just one great moment where you went, oh, that was brilliant when they done that. The whole thing was just mind-blowing from start to finish. And really like a unique sound to him. Like no one else really sounds like him, and we hadn't really heard. He does a bit of kind of rapping stuff as well, and his melodies are just stunning. Great songwriting skills, great musicianship.
I love his wee Korg sampler where he was able to trigger a lot of the wee sweet moments from the songs that are on record. He could trigger them live and without having
That's
to stick
something
to
we've really been interested in as well. And he really pulled it off. The drummer had some sample pads going on as well. A lot of it was like vocal samples and stuff to fill the live sound out with some of the stuff that's on the record, and it just really great. Really well implemented.
It was nice to see him get on an iTunes advert for the Apple Watch.
Yeah, that was a good spot because it was only short. It's actually quite quiet in the ad, weirdly. But
all I want to do is fly away. And we were due to see Sir Woz at the Stag and Dagger Festival this year, but sadly COVID put an end to that. Bummer.
The fated word has appeared in our video.
Sorry.
Why you should go to small venue gigs?
It's important to go to small venues, to go and see bands that maybe you've never even heard of, most of these shows are gigs that I went to without any expectations, without even really knowing much about the band, and I've went away absolutely loving either the gig or the band and
loving
the
life.
band, yeah, and being buzzed about it, like you say, talking about it and being excited about it. I think that's a really important thing.
I recently read David Byrne's book, How Music Works.
Good book.
And I would thoroughly recommend it to anyone that's a David Byrne fan or is interested in how music's made and stuff like that. It's not just it's got pieces of biography in it. Great book. He goes to gigs every week, or he did when that was an option.
Especially when music comes back and small bands are going back to playing these types of venues, they're going to need every bit of support.
Exactly.
Going. So please go to your local venues and see some bands. Some of them might not be that great, but you just never know. The night you might come away buzzing. Just
because a band isn't running away with a hit record doesn't mean that they've not got an absolutely stonking record. Because Sir Woz proved that to me, and I'm sure there's 1,000 other Sir Wozes out there, trying to make it. So definitely going to start getting into a habit of going to see more gigs.
So that's why you should go and see gigs in local venues.
Remember to subscribe if you've not already, if you enjoyed the video.
Like, share and hit that bell.
If there's anyone you've seen that is now famous before they were famous, that'd be interesting to hear actually.
And we will catch you next week on Dermis Mondays.
Thanks for watching.
See ya! Bye! And cut!